Welcome to Rob Schmitt tonight. As the collective D.C. establishment continues to hyperventilate over Trump's handling of classified documents, this past weekend, Joe Biden went on CNN and told the entire world that the reason he's sending Ukraine cluster munitions, which are banned in half the countries in the world and have long been a huge no-no, well, the reason is because the United States is basically running out of 155 millimeter howitzer munitions, which are right here on the screen. These massive bullets, which we've sent more than 1 million of to Volodymyr Zelensky. Here's Biden on CNN telling the entire world that our never-ending devotion to Ukraine is depleting our own ability to defend our own country.
The Ukrainians are running out of ammunition. The ammunition that they call them 155 millimeter weapons. This is a war relating to munitions, and they're running out of that ammunition, and we're low on it.
So what Biden just said is the kind of information you'd find in a classified military document. The United States is running low on a very important munition. Without question, that was on Putin's desk this morning, Xi Jinping's as well. Now ask yourself, does anybody actually believe that Trump potentially waving around a theoretical Iran invasion plan in front of a group of women is more dangerous than Joe Biden telling a CNN reporter that the Ukraine war is bleeding our country dry? Quite clear, the manic response to Trump's handling of classified information was just another psyop on the American people, conducted by D.C. insiders and journalists who don't actually care at all about the handling of classified documents. If they did, they'd care about its handling by everybody. And the latest in the Biden corruption files details another horrifying claim against Joe Biden. Tonight, we can tell you that Professor Gal Luft has been formally charged by the DOJ for acting as an unregistered foreign agent and for acting as an arms dealer. Luft, on the screen, a mild-mannered professor, adamantly claims he's never sold a bullet in his life and is being targeted because of the information he's had for years about Joe Biden. Luft has revealed that Biden allegedly took millions of dollars from the Chinese, from people with ties to the Chinese Communist Party's military. And in exchange, Luft says the Biden family was helping the CCP attain useful American classified information. From the New York Post, the fugitive former Israeli army officer claims he was arrested in Cyprus to stop him from testifying to the House Oversight Committee that the Biden family received the payments from individuals with alleged ties to Chinese military intelligence and that they had an FBI mole who shared classified information with their benefactors from the China-controlled energy company CEFC. Luft disclosed during the Brussels interview from a couple years ago that CEFC was paying $100,000 a month to Hunter Biden and $65,000 a month to Uncle Jim Biden in exchange for their FBI connections. Connections, he says, got them classified information. The Chinese military. Just more information that nobody at the DOJ wanted to hear over the past 5 years, as Trump-appointed prosecutor David Weiss continues to pretend he did not waste the last 5 years of his life on a sham parody investigation, still carrying the water for his bosses, Weiss is, who made sure that the investigation never entered into the Biden corruption territory, despite so much evidence. Weiss responding to a letter sent from Lindsey Graham saying, to clarify a misinterpretation and to avoid future confusion, I wish to make one point clear. In this case, I have not requested special counsel designation. But IRS whistleblower Gary Shapley says that's exactly what happened, and Shapley hasn't been using semantics to muddy the waters on this topic like Weiss and Merrick Garland have been. Weiss says he had discussions with departmental officials regarding potential special counsel appointment, was assured he would be granted this authority if proved necessary. So Weiss spoke to departmental officials but never spoke to Garland. The reason why? So if this scheme was ever investigated, Garland could go in front of Congress and say exactly this.
The only person with authority to make somebody a special counsel or refuse to make somebody a special counsel is the Attorney General. Mr. Weiss never made that request to me.
So you see how this all works. They spin it a million different ways. They assume that by the time it's finally transcribed, if there's any media that wants to transcribe it, the public has lost interest. And that's usually what happens. Whistleblower Gary Shapley has even more evidence that David Weiss spent 5 years knowingly wasting his time in this sham investigation, saying Weiss was sent through a process that went through another President Biden-appointed U.S. attorney. So the only move he could make was to go through Biden's people. Pretty simple. You allow the Trump-appointed prosecutor to stay on for the optics, because you don't want to fire the Trump-appointed prosecutor, but you just talk to him and you ensnare him in a system where he has nowhere to go that doesn't go through your people. In short, his investigation will go nowhere. And of course, David Weiss, it appears, was just fine with that, because he was from Delaware after all. And welcome to Washington. You see how it works. And just as phony as the investigation into the Bidens has been, is the president that they've been protecting. Today, Axios dropped quite a bomb you might have seen about Biden's temper. More proof our president's image has been completely manufactured by political operatives. White House staff claiming Biden is a tyrant, quite cruel as well. Quote, the president's admonitions include, God, how the F don't you know this? Don't effing BS me and get the F out of here, according to current and former Biden aides who have witnessed and been on the receiving end of such outbursts. Behind closed doors, Biden has such a quick trigger temper that some aides try to avoid meeting alone with him. Some take a colleague almost as a shield against a solo blast. Are you really surprised that this is who he really is? The corrupt plagiarist who's spent his entire career with his foot in his mouth, making mind-numbingly stupid comments as often as he possibly can, and then was rebranded as this compassionate elder statesman in the run-up to 2020. Got the nip tuck all over, a whole new person. He's now this confident statesman that's been around. He knows this country. He's for the soul, the integrity of America. Yeah, right. The real Joe Biden is being exposed in real time in many different ways right now, completely different than the man the DNC sold to this country just 3 years ago.